These people know they're destroying their lives, but they still refuse to fix their shit. Excuses after excuses. Caleb tried everything. Let's watch them dig their own graves. This girl says financial audit doesn't work because it doesn't understand her nuance. She owns a house, makes decent money, but still drowns in debt while chasing concerts and Seattle vibes. Caleb tried to help. She brought excuses instead.
You got a car you couldn't afford.
Yeah.
You were a literal fucking moron and ran a red light and smashed into a car.
Yes. It was an accident.
Yes, it was a car accident. So you making dumb choices equals you get funded by us. But I'm sure, can you shut the up? I'm kind of talking to you.
I mean, I am a Gemini.
2,400.
I tried. I did it, but it wasn't super. It wasn't super accurate. It was really missing nuance for.
What's your nuance?
Yeah, so
It didn't take into account that you're trying to socialize?
No.
Okay.
So I rent an apartment in Seattle, but I own a house in Missouri.
Unique. Okay, well, that would apply to your real estate score.
Yeah, so the real estate score is like, do you own your primary house?
Well, it's not a primary residence.
Have debt?
It's not a primary residence.
It's just really simple and it lacks nuance.
That's not about.
It's hundreds every weekend.
But even still, that shouldn't destroy you with where you're at of your needs versus.
Yeah, if you're looking at just my base costs, for sure.
Yeah, so that gives you wiggle room. So what are you talking about then?
Credit cards, man, they're killing me.
Okay, why are the credit cards killing you then? Because even still, you wouldn't be going in credit card debt because you have enough money left over to go socialize.
Well, because the credit card debt existed before the socializing started.
Then why? Why? If what we're spending on is socializing, how did they exist before the socializing? How big concerts? Because concerts aren't always expensive. If they're a local concert, it's not huge.
I mean, it's like All-Time Low, My Chemical Romance, A Day to Remember, Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, I know one.
Wow. My Chemical Romance?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All time. Yeah. Just like emo scene.
Yeah, slit
pop
wrist
punk.
music. Yep. We got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, with the number you have, is it a crazy number? No. But if we're comparing it to the studio price you have for your rent.
Yeah.
You were a literal fucking moron and ran a red light and smashed into a car.
Yes. It was an accident.
Yes, it was a car accident. And then that f***ed your credit out of your choices and moronicness.
Yeah.
Which prevented you from getting a place that you wanted, so you milked the taxpayer. So you making dumbass choices equals you get funded by us? F*** off. That makes no sense. That is not a justification. That's even worse. You are a moron. You don't know how to look at stoplights. You are a moron. You bought a car you couldn't afford. That doesn't mean we have endlessly higher rents to fund you. Do you have a concern?
Yeah, sure.
You said you've watched the show for 2 years, and it sounds like you've been watching Remy. Is it Ramit or Remy? I thought
Remy.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was Ramit before this, but I guess that is a little more. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, good. You've been watching him for a while. Mm-hmm. You've known of Dave Ramsey for a while. If you've been consuming all these things and you've done nothing, what is this actually going to change? This conversation?
Yeah.
Because you've been watching the content. Even the 50% that answer our annual quiz that do better, than vast majority of Americans who are in the audience. And then about 25% are struggling and 25% are on their way. That's usually about what we see. But they still watch the show, one, entertainment, two, motivation. Surrounding yourself with money content, money books, things like that. Keep people motivated to their goals.
Yeah.
You've been surrounding yourself with this shit for years and you've done nothing. In fact, I've seen a snapshot of last month and it's horrendous.
Yeah.
What the
This year, I finally got to focus on my mental health and...
what mental health?
So I don't want to talk too much about that, but it did help me a lot to finally get my meds in line. So now I'm
so you feel a little better this year. That's good. Great. Well, that we're at the end of the year, so
things are getting better.
No. No. I see a late fee on this first credit card is actually what I see. I also see income coming in of basically what you said. Actually, a little more. It must have been a triple paycheck month. Okay, that came in. Yet you still spent more than that. Hundreds more.
Be optimistic.
Exactly. And optimism is okay, but blind optimism is not, because you're kind of setting you know what you're doing? You're taking the W before it's happened.
Okay.
There was some report or study done on we've already talked about weight. So like essentially it's been like you go up to someone after you've dieted from work, you're like, I'm on a diet. And you already get that win that you would have felt if you actually actively dieted and worked out for a few months and someone said, wow, you're starting to look good. You immediately get that win even though you've done nothing. You're getting the win of saying, I'm going to work on it. It's going to get better, instead of actually putting in and getting the results.
Yeah.
This guy made real progress, then said nah and went right back to his old habits. Caleb tried everything, but he just won't listen.
Substantial. Ooh, go on.
I don't want to spoil too much, but I've paid off a good amount of all of everything. I didn't exactly follow your plan to the T, and we'll talk about that. I didn't agree with everything, but
sure,
the basis of it I agree with, and I did most of it. So
good. So the fire stayed lit under your pedal to the metal to pay this off.
We haven't been going full pedal to metal this past month, no. But
this past month, what changed?
Um,
Don't let the fire start going away, because it's so easy to slip into bad habits. I give a strict budget because I know how bad it can be in the debts. I've been in really bad debts and I know how good it is on the other side. But even with a couple little things here and there, obviously I'm not going to freak out. I wouldn't like say, okay, do that. So that's why it's never included in the budget. But what makes me a little nervous, seeing that and seeing Amazon, more McDonald's, second swing, you're supposed to, if I'm being generous. What?
I don't know. I don't remember me going out that much. I mean, it might have been July. You know, so
this is another credit union.
This is this is just another form of the same. It's the same thing.
Oh, it's just the same thing.
I gave you two different formats.
Okay, cool. But I'll see the exact same things in there.
Yeah, the exact same things.
SoFi Savings. Wow. You've been following all the stuff that I personally do on my own end, or else I wouldn't recommend any of this stuff. So that's great. What's your balance?
It's just $250.
Okay, so
I
you're saving.
just started.
You went. We talked about doing the $1,000 because you lived at home. Usually the $1,000 I think is too low for most people.
I wake up, I gotta drive 30 minutes to my job, I gotta drive 30 minutes to the second job, and then 30 minutes back home. This apartment's 5 minutes away from my second job, so I get off of work, I go to my second job, 5 minutes, I can get home and get in bed and sleep.
Is school online?
School's online.
Okay, and then how far is it from the main job?
How far is what from the main job?
Your new apartment?
Like 24 minutes.
Okay, so there's still
there's still a little bit. It's what do you cut? You're cutting down half an hour. I mean, I haven't moved in, so if you think that I should just not do it, I don't think it's.
I wouldn't do it yet. I would do it very soon. I just wouldn't do it yet. I would just take care of everything. Make sure you're in the golden position. No, I'm just saying. So there's we need to be more prepared for it, financially speaking. So you need 2,671. You have $500 saved up in 2 different saving accounts. 1 month you set aside. That extra money you have brings it to 1,329. So that's what I would do in 1 month. Making minimum payments on everything else. So that's the end of month number 1. Month number 2, you put the other. That was a lot. Let me bring up some of your spending statistics we saw in the last month. Going out to eat, $304. That's not what I want to be seeing in a follow-up episode when that's more than your braces payment. That's more than your car payment. You could have made more than double your payment on either of those versus the.
This girl makes barely enough to survive, but refuses to get a real job or cut her spending. Caleb tried to wake her up. She just kept making excuses.
It kind of like fluctuates back and forth depending on like quotas and stuff like that. Like right now, since it's holiday season, there's going to be a lot more hours available because they need more people because we have more people showing up.
Now, cosmetology is not necessarily the highest paying job in field for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting into it, I know sometimes a lot of people can struggle breaking into the field, and it's a lot of hours and working with a lot of pain in the ass people. Yeah. But eventually it can turn. There's some people that make pretty good careers. Now, I had payroll come in for the month of $1,477.
What is that?
That's the money that came in.
Yeah. $1,477?
Yeah. $1,477.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard to live off of. I know San Antonio is cheaper than Austin, but still, in a major top 10 population city in the country, that's pretty difficult to live off of. Now, I assume you do split rent and some other expenses with the boyfriend because you said you live together. But even still, that's quite a struggle, especially when we're trying to get out of a lot of debt. I mean, even the first credit card that we're going to look at is essentially double that. So the spiel you gave me, and I like people to give their spiel so then we can actually look at the reality of the situation. Like, I'm getting out of debt. I've watched the show for a month. I've cut back. This was, by the way, going into just the beginning of this month. This is until today. Your payment was due today on this. So this was just happening. I'm going on. I'm sacrificing so I can get out of debt and all that stuff. We put a $75 payment towards it. Then you purchased $96.84. So immediately, what the you why say all that stuff if the actions around that's okay, but why are we putting that on a card? If interest is accruing on it, we can't even come close to paying it off. Why is that? I want you to go to therapy. That's fantastic. We're going to put that in your budget, but that's coming from your checking account. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit here. You can't pay for it.
So I will say I have removed it from like my tap to pay. And that
remove your credit card from your tap to pay.
No, I did after that because I saw my statement.
Oh, I thought you said you remove this purchase from your tap to pay, but you remove your credit card.
I removed my card because I accidentally did the tap to pay because he was trying to get in with another client. So that's why that accidentally happened. And
for someone that doesn't make money, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just basic math. I'm not saying I don't want you to travel. You can't afford it, and we just put everything on debt. It's like you're the proof that you just can't travel if you can't pay for it. Which sucks. I'm sorry. I want you to have those life experiences. I want to work to help you get out of debt, get an emergency fund, and have proper money going to savings and live on a proper budget so you can have money saved up to go on awesome trips paid for.
Yeah.
That's great. But have you stopped taking trips?
I'm not telling you where I'm going.
Why don't we go make money more than $1,400 a month?
Mentally, I can't do it.
Go on. Well, what?
I just can't.
Can't do what, though? I don't know what it is.
So, like, I've had, like, patients pass on me and I've gotten really close to them. I can't detach myself in that sense. I can't.
Well, there's so many different parts of nursing, though. There's so many different parts of nursing.
Yeah, and then, so, like, part 2 to that is I have an autoimmune disease and I have lupus. And during, like, the COVID-19 pandemic, I can't risk my own health.
But this 28-year-old still acts like a kid, refuses to grow up, get a real job, or stop spending. Caleb tried to wake her up. She just kept making excuses.
Dang, that's a manager salary?
Well, I do a lot of OT.
Is it
So
more like office manager, not like a manager?
So I always tell people I'm like the cashier, but I'm like manager by default. So
do you have direct reports?
I do everything pretty much.
Is there people that report to you?
Nope.
Okay.
We're a 2-man show.
Oh, okay. 1650 plus what for over? What is this? Am I pausing the video real quick to talk about who I'm partnering with? Mint Mobile? Why, yes, it is. And all it takes is 15 minutes to pay as little as $15 a month on your cell phone coverage. Why would we not be doing that and putting our money in better places? Switch to Mint Mobile. I partner with them for a reason. Imagine what you could do with the extra money that you save. Why not go and buy a brand new yacht? So make sure you go to mintmobile.com/hammer. 15 minutes, low as $15 a month. Come on. Now back to the episode. Over there, but tequila of some kind and Amazon and cafe, burger fry, focus on different things. Like, we all have questionable pasts, but what matters is not what you did at a certain point a decade ago. What matters is what you're doing now to improve your life and what you're going to be doing in the future. So that's what we're going to focus on, but I will dig into you a bit.
Okay.
Because the debt, you need to realize what it is, and especially since you said, oh, it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's like, all right, come on. There's also a gnat flying around.
I say it's not bad because I'm not overdrafting, but like I said, it's not great.
Okay, well, there's other things besides overdrafting.
Yeah.
Let's start with this. We have a pet credit card.
The blue one first, because it was my. I don't think I've
chopped up credit cards. Woo!
used that one, And so I was going to close it because they were charging me fees.
Yeah.
Those-
Credit One's death.
because I wasn't, so it's an annual fee, but because I wasn't making purchases on it, they broke it down to monthly fees. And so it's like, I called to cancel and they're like, hey, we're going to stop your fees for the next 6 months and give you back like, so it's like,
Still irresponsible.
yeah.
Bad for the pet. Freedom Chase. Let's see how much freedom you're getting from this. Previous balance $338, payments $642, new purchases $689, new balance $385. There are balance currently on there. Chase Freedom.
Yes.
What?
My light bill and the groceries.
What's the balance?
I'm not. Do you
Few
want me to
$100?
pull it up?
We'll just go off of what was on the statement because it can't be that different, which was $385. You need to increase your income, get a job that pay. Even you getting a job that pays exactly what you're getting paid now, but only for 40 hours a week, so you can do the rest with another job, that's great, because then we can use that other job as just debt money. Debt money. But right now you're working mid 50 hours a week for this. If you worked only 40 hours a week in your job, you'd be going further into debt because you can't afford your minimum expenses.
So, I don't know if I can explain it to the way that you're going to be able to understand. Because you've already
Go on.
you don't see it the way that I do.
Well, I see
And-
the math.
and
And
see-
Well, this nurse makes $90,000 a year, but still drowns in debt while making excuse after excuse. Caleb completely lost it trying to get through to her.
that's why we have an emergency fund.
And-
In your situation, if we know the people we work
I used
with,
it all when I put all my money on my down payment on my house.
that's not an emergency fund.
No, well, not having a house is also an emergency.
No, you can rent. You rent.
No.
You save up a down payment, and you do never get into the world of property ownership where expenses always come from
Yeah.
repairs that always come unexpected. You do not get into that until you have a 6-month emergency fund of what would cover the budget once you have your mortgage, property taxes, everything included, and minimum living expenses.
I had like $25,000. Anyway,
You just said off.
okay.
A camper, that's fine. It's not that I want you to stay there. It's that I could find you a rental property. Let's do it now. I will prove you wrong, and I will show you. And if I'm wrong, I'll fully admit it.
But how would I rent and then have my parents? My parents need to be with where I am.
Why could they not live in a place you rent? This doesn't make sense.
Because the property that we live on is their property, and that's where they run their business.
You bought their house?
I bought my house and put it on their property. And now you're gonna think
I just don't like
was
the excuses. You're allowing it to be excuses.
Well, I needed a place to live.
There it is.
That was it. Anyway, that's already done. So now I'm in a position where I can start cleaning this big old mess up.
Should have been doing it already, but go ahead. There's no reason that this should exist. There's no reason.
But it does now.
Yes.
So now I want to clean it
No,
up.
we can clean it up. But I don't beat someone up for taking this out. What I will do is beat up the reasons as to why.
Majority of these.
Which again shouldn't be a thing. Shouldn't be a thing for
Yes.
you in your
Yes.
income. You've made the choices necessary for that to have failed.
Yes.
And without us addressing them, accepting responsibility, accepting that maybe we didn't make the exact right choice. And yes, you want the best place for your kids. You want the best future for your kids. The risk surrounding what you've gotten into can make you end up in a worse situation overall. If we go in with things to cover our overall risk profile, that protects you and the kids. And that's the emergency fund that's renting for a little bit in order to make sure we're getting into the home purchase. That makes sense. Okay, so $9,069.84 might be
Get all
upsetting
of
to you,
this.
but what's upsetting to me is that we can go through all this and I can create a plan to actually get out of it, but you've not accepted responsibility for a single thing. You've not accepted that anything that was done has been incorrect. It's like, okay, I can make the plan to get out of it, but will you actually follow it? I am not confident so far in this conversation.
I take total responsibility of all of these cards.
Responsibility, but not accepting, but not acknowledging it was bad. And the
It was
actions that
bad.
were bad.
This is bad. This is a
So
huge
you shouldn't have bought a
mess.
house. So you shouldn't have bought a house yet? Exactly. 1,000. It's just basic math. Found the budget and see where we need to adjust for the next month. But this is just so we can put a plan forward.
Okay.
I'd make sure you're taking the match at your workplace.
Okay.
If there is, because that's 100%
Yeah.
return on your money, which is going to beat any of these debts by 75%.
You look mad.
No, I just completely messed it up, which means I get to go through this.
Oh
whole thing
no.
again. People always ask me, what high yield savings account do I use for my own